our wild card weekend preview. And we're going to break down these games. We're going to get you all the information you need so you can make your best betting decisions. You can enjoy watching these games knowing, you have a little bit of heads up on what to look out for. So let's get going here with Chargers and the Texans. Hey!
All right.
Let's go,
Thank
Bobby.
you, Bobby.
What's going on, Bobby? How we doing? By the way, Bobby, who's your team and where you're from? We'd like to get to know you a little bit better. It's been either you've been here and it's been a while, or you look new. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
You look new.
You look new. I
Appearance.
don't recognize you from the last time we. Sadly, Steelers fan from Pitt. Sadly,
Oh,
hi,
Bobby.
Wreck.
I'm so
Wreck.
sad, Bobby.
Hey, let's go. Our moderators
Here.
are very big Steelers fans. So you can share the sentiments. By the way, Bobby, big question for you. How do you feel about Mike Tomlin? All right. Chargers and Texans. Chargers, which this line opened up early on in the week at 3, has now dropped to 2.5. And Scotty and I, by the way, are going to go through these picks. These games,
Bobby.
and we're gonna try to collaborate on a few best bets, maybe 3, maybe 4, maybe 2 best bets.
And
What-
in chat, we're going to collaborate on one as well.
So chat, you can collaborate on one as well, but we're gonna try to, once we get through all these games, we're gonna evaluate and we're gonna pick 2 or 3 best bets for you guys to keep an eye on. But Chargers at the Houston Texans. This has been 7 straight years for the Texans in this first
Time
game
slot.
in the time slot that they're in, which is, they're right at home with that. They love this spot, so why not? Texans 2.5 point underdogs at home against the Chargers. Over under set at 42.5, and the money line for Houston Texans just to win the game plus 130. The Los Angeles Chargers minus 154. Now, we all know that the Chargers charger, but will they do it in the first round of the playoffs this week? Obviously, the 2.5, at least the first thing I look at, Scotty, is teaser candidates. So if we could find another game to tease it with, i.e. the Denver Broncos, Buffalo Bills, that would always be something to consider for a best bet. Teasing up the Houston Texans to 8.5, Buffalo Bills down to 2.5. Love that. So that's on my radar. Maybe we could think about that as one of our best bets. But you like the Chargers in this game, Scotty?
Love the Chargers. Or no, wait, no, not the Chargers. I love the Texans, Chris.
Oh, sorry. You love
Someone
the
click
Texans.
that.
I literally was just like following you up. without
Love
thinking.
the
I was
Chargers.
reading something real quick. You're like, you like the Chargers, and I just followed it.
I could've-
I like the
yeah.
Texans. Why are the Chargers favored by? And I have the Texans +3, to be fair, but like on the road, I understand. We've talked about how underperforming the Texans have been this year, and haven't played up to their capabilities. You lose Tank Dell late in the year. That's a weapon on offense. But I think these teams are way more similar than everyone realizes. Like, the Chargers are a pretty good defense. I actually think the Texans defense is better than the Chargers defense. And then you get to offense side of the football. I think you have a better O-line in LA. But beyond that, like, it's not that dissimilar. You have Nico Collins, you have Lab McConkey coming back and forth there. Like, the running game is, you could argue, is even better in Houston with Joe Mixon versus J.K. Dobbins, who's been in and out of the lineup. I have no idea why the Chargers are favored by 3 when I got it at 3 on the road. And listen, all the public talk this week has been about how the Chargers will win this game. And I get it. The Chargers won 3 straight. Granted, the last 2 weeks was against like the Patriots and Raiders, so let's chill a little bit. But like, I actually think Houston not only covers that 3-point spread, I think Houston wins this game outright.
Just straight up.
Keep in mind, they were, remember, first round against Cleveland, a red hot Cleveland team last year, and they blew them out beyond belief. CJ Stroud has more career playoff wins than Justin Herbert at 1. Justin Herbert yet to win a playoff game. Keep in mind they had that epic collapse. What was that, 2 or 3 years ago against the Jags in that first round where they were up a ton at half and then collapsed in the second half. I know everyone's pointing to, you got Herbert who's playing well, you have Harbaugh who they love at coach, and they're just like, I feel like everyone's on the Chargers. Texans not only cover, they win this game outright. It's my favorite. This is my favorite bet of the week.
Okay.
It's Texans +3. And we can also, if you want to, we can
tease it up.
Tease it.
Tease up the Texans
with another game.
I mean, considering you love the Texans, teasing it seems like a no-brainer. And you were very confident about. Both of us are pretty confident about the Buffalo Bills beating the Broncos. So we could be double dipping on this one, which is totally fine with me. Another interesting one is the under in this 42.5. The Texans struggling in the red zone. Obviously, we have this season has been a little bit different with CJ Stroud. He's got Nico Collins back, but he lost Tank Dell over the course of the end of the season. Chargers were number 1 in the NFL in fewest points allowed at 17.7 per game. Considering they're also a conservative team, like to run the ball, I think that this could be kind of one of those games where it's points are maybe at a premium, and I mean maybe some. I don't know. Maybe we could lean on some team totals for the under as well, but I just think that this could be a game where maybe could lean towards the under. That would be if we were betting the total. That's kind of where I would be. But yeah, so just food for thought there.
Under makes a lot of sense. I'd say the biggest thing for the matchup. Do you think this is a big coaching mismatch? You had D'Amico Ryan's great coach last year, burst onto the scene. This year, you heard from Spees when he came on talking about how this whole coaching staff just forgot how to make adjustments, which in the playoffs is very key. So this second half will be interesting. So I maybe do half prop bets, first half and second half. Maybe Texans first half with spread, Chargers second half.
Yeah,
depending on where it's at. I like Texans first half though, and then where it's at halftime, maybe Chargers second half. Yeah.
70% of the money and 70% of the public all on the Chargers, at least at the three. So that's, I think, pretty substantial.
Just as we get into all these games, I think if you blindly bet the underdog in every game, plus the points, you're gonna make money this weekend.
Ooh,
I really feel strong.
Should we do an underdog?
And not only that, a blind parlay. I'm going against one of the teams that's an underdog, but a blind parlay of every underdog.
You're gonna do it?
Could hit. It wouldn't shock me if it hits.
Are you gonna put $5-10 down on it?
I'd put $10 on a parlay, six game parlay of with the points every underdog. Yeah.
I mean,
the one I'm nervous about is we'll get into, but I could still see that at least pushing worst case scenario.
I'll say this. By the way, the question to Bobby, Mike Tomlin, I hope he leaves.
Yep, that's the correct answer.
He has to go. Him and the offensive coach.
In the offensive, thing, that's what he just meant to stop it.
Yeah. What's up, corn doggy?
We'll get to him a little bit more when we get there, but there's issues.
That's the next game we're going to talk about.
Yeah,
so
let's get to it now. So we have a couple options for some best bets for the Chargers and Houston. Let's get to Steelers and Ravens. So in this one, this game opened up at 8.5 and went instantly straight up to 9.5, without even having it live for like 2 minutes. We were looking at this after our stream on last Sunday. So
Even after, during the stream.
during the stream, and yeah, I was able to actually get it when I teased Baltimore down to 2.5. That is still, I think Baltimore at 9.5 is going to be one that, people are going to say is a big spread. We'll get to that here in a second and kind of evaluate that. But over under total set at 43.5 as we sit on, according to FanDuel Sportsbook. Then we also have the money line, almost minus 600 for Baltimore, plus 440 for the Pittsburgh Steelers in this game of division rivals in Baltimore. So this game is...
I'm going to do a code yell real quick as you guys dive into this, and I'll be back to talk about it.
Yeah, so this game strikes me as if you were to give me the Ravens at 8.5, I definitely would lean towards the Baltimore Ravens at 8.5, based off of some of the history of, as Rec will tell you, the Pittsburgh Steelers in the playoffs. I mean, I still would probably lean Ravens in this matchup. We talked a lot about this in the previous game that was in the end of the regular season, right, Rec? Where everyone's was kind of nervous about this being, 3-point game. It's always a 3-point game. Well, it ended up being...
It was 17 last time.
It was a big shift in how that game ended up in this last go round. So, if anything, I do think the Ravens are the better team in this matchup. I think that they have a lot more to bring to this matchup, and I would almost push leaning to Baltimore in this one, even with the spread. Obviously, the money line is a little too juiced, so you can't really go heavy on that. But Baltimore, if I had a lean in this one, it would be them. And then maybe, I could see the Pittsburgh Steelers maybe putting up a couple points here, but the over-under total is a little sketchy for me. I don't know if I want to necessarily attack the over-under total. 43.5, it seems like an average number there. I would maybe lean over, knowing the Baltimore Ravens might put up points and maybe let the Steelers get some garbage time touchdowns. But that's where I stand on this game. I think this one leans heavily towards the Baltimore Ravens. Rec, do you agree?
Yeah. This guy's going to talk about how it is a division matchup in the playoff, and usually you do want to be the worst team in that scenario. Do have a little bit of advantage there. I agree with that, but the Steelers are not exactly a normal team. Obviously there's some Mike Tomlin debate. Like over the last 2 weeks, he's been coaching scared, and he's been coaching against the strengths of the team. He said after the Bengals game, he said that they wanted to run the ball because passing is risky.
Yeah.
Somebody tell me why he's a top 5 coach again? When passing is risky?
Well,
against the Bengals, a Bengals defense that fired the defensive coordinator the next couple of days? Stupid. And now, since the last time the Steelers won the playoff game, in every single playoff game they've played in, they've been down by at least 20 points at some point in time. So, a bet that I love here, I love Ravens first half spread. I'm doing a lot of half props this week, but I love Ravens first half spread.
First half spread, it was on my radar as well. First half spread, minus 6.5 is where it sits now. I still love minus 6.5 for that first half spread.
I take that because they go down very quick. Steelers go down very quick in the playoffs. It's usually just boom, boom, boom. You blink and it's all of a sudden 21-0 for no particular reason. So yeah, that'd be a good bet. Now the one thing that does worry me, as Bobby pointed out, Zay Flowers is doubtful for this game, and the Ravens don't have many wide receiver options after that.
Yeah.
So that's the one thing that would worry me about the Ravens with the spread. But knowing how Tomlin has coached lately during the skid, and knowing how the Steelers are during the playoffs, Ravens would be my lane, even though it is a division AFC North matchup.
Also,
can I ask you real quick a question, Rick? Why is Tomlin coaching Pickens to drop the ball? What's the strategy there?
Yeah.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton.
Why is he doing that? Why is he
Yeah.
telling him to drop the ball?
Again, I mean, you could ask that about every bad coach. Like, why was John Merrill coaching Jalen Polk to drop the ball all the time? Or why was Antonio Pierce coaching his quarterbacks to throw picks all the time?
Well, because
Like you
he
can't
had
just
quarterbacks that were bad, but you have a wide receiver that's supposed to be pretty damn good.
yeah.
And he
I know, but
played like ass last week.
yes, I understand he played like ass.
One of the worst performances. And
So-
then like they're
so, Scotty,
coddling him on the sideline.
So Scotty,
Trying
let me
to
ask you this:
yeah.
Why does one player having a bad game automatically absorb the head coach of all
I just
critique?
would love you to mention that a player had a bad game.
Yes,
once in a while.
George Pickens had a very shitty
But
game.
I had to bring it up.
I talked about it last week, but yes, George Pickens had a shitty game.
Listen, I've said, and who's our new Bobby? I have said that you guys should fire Mike Tomlin. Didn't I? I've said that. I said that a year ago.
Granted, you said that for a completely different reason. Now, my thing with Tomlin, to me, the floor is the ceiling. Like, Tomlin is the reason we win 9-10 games a year, but he's also the reason why we never make it to the playoffs. It's like having Alex Smith.
Well, you make it to the playoffs, but you don't win in the playoffs.
Yeah, it's like having Alex Smith as a head coach.
Mike Tomlin should be fired because the Steelers should just rebuild. And they'd be much better off rebuilding with a new coach. And that's why Mike Tomlin should be fired.
So
Pittsburgh
the
should
big
rebuild.
thing for me. So let me go ahead and sell this whole thing once and for all for why he's not a top 5 coach. We've established multiple times that he's not a good X's and O's coach. That wouldn't be a problem if he didn't have all the control that he did. Like, he runs the defense, and the whole defensive game plan is just hope TJ Watt does cool shit, because what good coach runs soft zone? Like when we were watching the Steelers Cowboys game, so often, especially in the first half, we saw guys line up 10 yards off of like CeeDee Lamb. Especially when the top corner, his entire game is jamming at the line and then staying in his hip pocket. So how's he supposed to do that when he's 10 yards away? And then he meddles with the offense. I was telling Chris earlier while you were gone. He said that the whole game plan was to run the ball because passing is risky. Explain to me what good coach refuses to pass the ball because
to be
there's
fair,
risk to it.
You have one weapon
I
that drops the
understand.
ball. You have a tight end that's okay, and not a lot else.
I understand that our offensive talent is not great, but friendly reminder, we put up 44 points on the Bengals just a month earlier, and now he's like, oh, we're not going to do that again, so let's go against what worked.
Listen,
let's not take any sort of risk whatsoever.
As I mentioned, on Sunday, ironically, I think this is your best chance to win a playoff game, is facing a divisional opponent, because you're familiar. You can game plan a little more. I think this is going to be closer than you think. Just because of the divisional. Because if I had to rank all 14 playoff teams right now,
Steelers would be at the bottom.
I think Steelers might be 14. Yeah.
I mean,
I don't think they're very good.
I wouldn't fight with you on that. Now, granted, we'd probably think that for different reasons, but yeah,
regardless, the ultimate result is they're probably the worst playoff team right now.
It's them in Houston.
4-game losing streak. Obviously, they played some good teams in that stretch, but they haven't been
any sort of competitive
in that stretch. So, yeah, coming in and they don't look good right now, but they beat some playoff teams. They beat the Chargers. They beat the Broncos. That was early on in the season. I understand that. Teams can change, but like, they have the potential, and now you're playing a divisional opponent. If they had to play, even if they played like Houston, I feel like for whatever reason, Houston would just annihilate them more than Baltimore would. And let's keep in mind, let's just throw out some stats. Let's keep in mind we're playing playoff Lamar now. Okay,
that was what I was
Playoff
going to get to
Lamar.
as well. Yep.
He's 2-4 in the playoffs, Chris. And let's play a game of Never Have I Ever. And I'll be Lamar Jackson. Never have I ever won a playoff game where the opposing team has scored more than 13 points. That would be I'm Lamar Jackson right now. His 2 wins, the team he played against didn't score more than 13 points. He's garbage in the playoffs.
Yes. Playoff Lamar is
He's
a
not
thing,
good.
and he doesn't have Zay. So I think that there's some. Those are the reasons why you feel like, all right, like there could be some limitations with how
Steelers have a shot, but also I don't trust the Steelers offense at all right now. So I don't know what to think about this.
I don't even trust the Steelers defense. Like, the Steelers defense has been bad since the bye week. The defense has been horrible.
So you have 2 teams coming in with complete opposite trends, right? You got the.
You know who's been the best Steelers defensive player over the last month? It hasn't been TJ Watt.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of actually who it's been lately.
Actually,
in probably Cam Hayward.
It is Cam Hayward. It is Hayward.
I agree with you on that.
Yeah, that dude's and he's 195 years old. I feel like he's been in the league for forever.
I did see a funny stat about Hayward. He has as many pass breakups this year as Pat Surtain, Jalen Ramsey, Christian Gonzalez, and I forgot who the other guy was, but he's got as many pass breakups as some of these elite corners.
Yeah.
And he plays D tackle.
And some people think that's like coincidence, but like he does that year after year. Pass breakups.
Yeah.
Not to this extent. Maybe this is his best year. But still, he does that all the time.
Yeah, that's what this defensive that's what the D line does.
So
yeah,
I don't know. I listen, I'll be cheering for the Steelers.
You're gonna be disappointed.
I don't think the Steelers. No, I don't think the Steelers will win this game. I think the Ravens will win, and then we'll have a really interesting Ravens-Bills matchup next week. If the Bills end up beating the Broncos, which we'll get into,
which they
later.
should.
But like they should, but it's not a foregone conclusion by any means. So any given Sunday, and like I said, I think the Steelers got a gift by playing a divisional opponent because I think what was that? That was a few years ago where the Ravens made the playoffs without Lamar and faced the Bengals, and the Bengals were a far better team. And the Bengals.
What year is this?
I think it was like 2 or 3 years ago.
Right.
And the Bengals needed a miracle, like pick 6 from like their D lineman or something.
Yeah, it was a scoop and score, like 100-yard scoop and score by Trey Hendrickson
to win that game, where they were clearly the better team. So like. Weird things happen when AFC North teams play each other in playoffs. So, like, I think the Steelers are trash and the Ravens are good, Lamar playoff bad. The Steelers haven't won a playoff game.
Here's what it's.
I was gonna say either. Tomlin playoff bad.
Here's what's going to come down to, right?
Tomlin playoff bad.
Here's what's going to come down to. Baltimore's won 4 straight games. Since the bye week, since week 14, they've won 4 straight games by 17 plus. Pittsburgh has lost 4 games that they have tough schedule, but they've just been beat up. Like, can you hold Baltimore under 30 points? And do you trust Russell Wilson to keep up with the Ravens offense?
Mike Tomlin answered that question last week. He does not.
And so, but here's the thing. Playoff Lamar is a thing. So that's what it's playoff Lamar without one of his top receivers is a thing. So
you get a couple. Listen, you're without Zay Flowers though. You get a couple turnovers if you're Pittsburgh, and all of a sudden you got a shot.
You got to create turnovers if you're Pittsburgh. You got to be able to create short.
Pittsburgh has to win the turnover battle by 1 or 2. To have
yes,
a shot
correct.
Yes.
I wouldn't even say 1. Like even if we win the turnover battle by 1, I don't think it's gonna be.
I think you have a
close.
shot at 1, depending on what's happening. I think Zay Flowers is a big loss.
Yeah. That is a big loss because it'd be Rashad Bateman and Tylan Wallace. I just read about that yesterday.
What about the guy they traded for that was supposed to be so good?
Yeah, he's in Houston now.
Things to keep an eye on, like I said, for a best bet standpoint. I don't know. I don't know if I trust anything within the spread. But first half, First half, Baltimore minus 6.5. It seems interesting.
Love it.
Lamar Jackson rushing yards is at 48.5, I believe. I mean, he's probably going to take up a couple times, but
yeah, with no Zay Flowers, yeah, that's probably gonna be a lot of running. So I'd like that.
so there's some maybe something to think about if you're on the Baltimore
If
side there.
only they had a coach on the other side that could coach him up to not let him run. Although, Myles Garrett said, like, before it was like, keep him in the pocket, make him throw, and now he's throwing well. But is he throwing well, or is it just regular season Lamar?
Yeah. Derrick Henry's over under total set at 98.5 for rushing yards. All right, so there you go. Not a heavy lean one way or another for the spread. I could see this being an absolute blowout. I could also see it being a close divisional game again in the playoffs. So
I just don't trust playoff Tomlin in the slightest.
Yeah.
I would actually sprinkle a very small amount on
money
Pittsburgh
line.
Money line.
Yeah, I see. I like where you're going with that. Money line for Pittsburgh, by the way,
I like it,
almost
but
4.5 to 1 on the money line there. So there you go. All right, let's get to the next one. Broncos and Bills.
Starting our Sunday off.
Let's go. Early game on Sunday. Buffalo Bills 8.5 point favorites at home. The over-under total set at 47.5. Money line for the Buffalo Bills to win the game minus 420. And the Broncos plus 330, almost a little under 3.5 to 1 on your money for the Denver Broncos. Now, this game is interesting. Scotty, when we first opened up we were looking at some of the information on this game this past Sunday with some of the passing props. And they opened up almost identical between Josh Allen and Bo Nix. They were the same over-under total for touchdowns. Same over, about pretty much within 3 yards of each other of passing yards. Completions are 20 to 22. Pass attempts, 35 for Bo Nix, 31 for Josh Allen. So a lot of very similar numbers, and this is still an 8.5 point spread. Broncos defense, obviously one of the best defenses in the NFL. They can create pressure. They can have the back end with Pat Surtain shutting down one side of the field. This is where Josh Allen, I think, is going to shine in a lot of the different aspects of what he brings to this game. Let's go, right? Bills, this game strikes me as a lot. I feel like this game is going to be a lot closer than people think. Now, this game opened up at 7.5, went straight to 8.5, much like the Baltimore game, went up a point automatically, but then it didn't really change from any other point in this week. Like I was anticipating it to go to maybe 9.5 at some point, and given the fact that everyone loves Buffalo so much, hasn't moved. It hasn't touched 9 or 9.5 whatsoever. Do I think Buffalo wins this game? I do. I think Buffalo is the better team in this. The public and the money on Buffalo Bills 8.5 is almost dead even down the middle. So public is 45% Broncos, 55% on the Bills. Money is 58% on the Broncos when it comes to that part of the spread, 8.5, 42% on the Bills. My favorite bet in this game is teasing down Buffalo to 2.5 and pairing them with Houston up to 8.5. I think that's probably my bet in this one. I think this is going to be a closer game than people think. I honestly think this will be a game where the Buffalo Bills are going to be in a battle for maybe the first half. If anything, I don't know what the first half spread of this game is, but I almost think the Broncos, depending on where it's at, might be a nice little sprinkle if you're looking at Broncos plus 6.5 on the first half spread. I don't hate that. I think that if anything, the Buffalo Bills are going to pull away late in this game. So do I trust Buffalo to cover 8.5? I don't know if I would go that far. I think it's a very efficient line, but it hasn't gone up. I think this is a closer game than what people might think.
Yeah, I don't. I kind of like your tease down because I don't see an avenue where Josh Allen allows them to lose this game. Josh Allen's that good, and you talked about the Denver defense, but like recency bias is like, are they good? Because remove the Chiefs game because that game doesn't matter, right? Like,
Yeah,
they didn't play anybody.
that game doesn't. It's not. It wasn't real.
The games before that, you gave up 30, 34, 13 against the Colts, but there was a drop touchdown at the goal line, and like 32 the game before that. So like the past month, you gave up a lot of points defensively. I listened to Dan Orlovsky say like, "Oh, the Bills are gonna have a big problem because Pat Surtain's gonna take away what the Bills like to do and take away his side of the field." And I'm like, that would make sense if you have an elite option at wide receiver or tight end, but the Bills don't. They don't have an elite option. They just throw it. I mean, Josh Allen kind of, what is it? Khalil Shakur, Amari Cooper, Dalton Schultz, or not Dalton Schultz.
Dalton Kincaid.
Dalton Kincaid. Like
they have
Knox?
good options, not great.
They're all good, but it's not like if you have one player on defense, it's going to take everything away from what he likes to do. He spreads it around. You have the first game of a rookie quarterback on the road in Buffalo with Bo Nix.
Yep.
I watch, and I can't erase this from my mind. And this isn't me hating. Like, part of me should be rooting for the Broncos, but also, like, I can't do that. But, like, I watched Bo Nix in his biggest moment last year to make the, college football playoff, the Final Four, beat Washington, and he played like trash in that game. And I'm like, I can't erase that from my head. Like, in his biggest opportunity, biggest moment last year, he did not play well.
Gives you the ick. You got the ick from that.
Now, he's been playing well, and I think they're connecting better, and I think the offense is going better. And I don't think the Bills' defense is good at all. Like, I think the Bills' defense is very susceptible.
Maybe the over.
So it could be interesting.
I would take
but
Bills -1.5.
But ultimately, I do like teasing down the Bills because Josh Allen will not lose this game. Josh Allen beats teams that aren't division winners. Josh Allen's never beat a division winner in the playoffs, though. He goes like 1-1 every year. To be fair, though, most of those losses are to the Chiefs. I think he lost
the other
Bengals
one was to the
once.
Bengals.
Tends to be similar.
Once, and the other three are all to the same team. But
yeah. And I think you talked about Pat Surtain and a lot. I think that's going to be a big piece. But I think the Denver Broncos pass rush is what's going to be what's interesting in this game and limiting.
Do you know how many times Josh Allen has been sacked this year?
I do not.
Just guess. Guess.
28.
Okay, Chris, what's your guess?
19.
It's 14.
Mm.
He's been sacked 14 times in we'll call it 16 games because he didn't play the last game really. So just under a sack a game. That's insane. That's insanely low, I should say. I mean, and I know the Broncos pass rush has been one of the best in the game this year, but like, here's what can I just be blunt? Like, the Broncos need to prevent him from rolling out to his right. If you let him roll out to his right and throw at the sideline, he will make a miraculous throw that gets him 50 yards. Like, whoever is playing left edge for Denver, let him run up the middle. Do not ever, under any circumstance, let him roll to his right. He can't do anything when he rolls to his left. Roll to the left. I've never even seen him roll to the left. I don't even know if he can. He might just fall over if he rolls to the left. But, like, roll to the right, he's deadly. Deadly.
Yeah, and I think that's something. Obviously, he kills you with his legs, especially in the playoffs. I think his over/under total for his rushing yards at 40.5. I kind of like that. That's another option for the Buffalo just player props side of things. Josh Allen at 40.5 or at 40.5 is I think you're getting some decent value.
I'll take whatever. I don't even know the number on Bo Nix rushing yards, but I'll take the over.
Bo Nix
He's
is
gonna
at
run a lot.
24.5.
Yeah, that's a good over.
Easy. Is that a
the
guarantee?
easiest bet
All right.
ever.
Let's do. Let's. I'm gonna write these
over
down.
that for sure.
Is
but-
that a trap bet?
So
He might do that. He might do that on one play.
all right, Bo Nix best bet. We'll make it a best bet over 24.5 rushing yards on this game. Yeah, let's lock it in.
So, chat, I hope you're coming up with some ideas.
Yeah, we're dropping little
As we go
tidbits,
along.
chat. You guys are going to come up with a best bet as well to go with ours. All right. So far we have Bo Nix over 24.5 rushing
You
yards.
got the teaser.
Teaser
got the
with
teaser, Bills
Houston-
down,
Bills
Texans
down.
up.
Houston plus 8.5 and Bills minus 2.5. So we have two best bets so far. All right. Let's go on to. Are we good with this game? I think so. Might be
Yeah.
more competitive.
Yeah.
Just generally summarizing, might be more competitive than we think. Broncos
But probably not.
can be dangerous, but we think the Bills will ultimately win this game. All right, let's get to Packers and Eagles. Packers are a team that, again, we've talked a lot about on this show. Green Bay has looked really good all season long. They are getting 4.5. They're 4.5 underdogs on the road in Philadelphia. Over under total set at 45.5 at this point. Green Bay plus 194 on the money line to win the game. The Philadelphia Eagles minus 240. Big news in this game though. Green Bay losing a big time option on the offense with whatchamacallit being out. Watson. Christian Watson is no longer going to be available because of his major injury. So that takes away some options for the Green Bay Packers, but do they still have enough, Scotty? Your Super Bowl representative for the NFC has a tough uphill battle against the Philadelphia Eagles in Philly.
I like Green Bay plus 4.5, even without Christian Watson, and even their quarterback Jordan Love got beat up a little bit last week, but I think Jordan Love's I'm not even gonna. This isn't an opinion. He is a better quarterback than Jalen Hurts. Now that doesn't mean they're a better roster. Like Jalen Hurts has elite options at wide receiver, far beyond what Jordan Love has. One of the best offensive lines in the league, and oh, by the way, Saquon Barkley just chilling back there. So there's a lot of things going in the Eagles' way, but the Packers, I can't escape how well the Packers played in the playoffs last year. Like they should have been in the NFC title game and with an opportunity to make the Super Bowl. They played that well. They blew out the Cowboys week 1. Jordan Love just
Well, that's not an
proved anyone,
accomplishment.
everyone. Maybe not. And they were up big early on week 2 in the second week of the year. But like he's covered both. He's 2-0 against the spread in his playoff life. Listen, and this comes with a caveat, but Jalen Hurts, you remember how I said, like, never have I ever with Lamar Jackson,
Yes.
never ever won a playoff game where the other team scored more than 13. It gets worse with Jalen.
Ooh.
With Jalen, it's never have I ever won a playoff game where the other team scores more than 7.
Oh, man.
With a caveat, he lost. To be fair, he lost in the Super Bowl and he balled out. And they lost like 35 to what was it? 38 to 35.
Something
So
like
he
that.
balled out. So it's not like he didn't put up points. He's played better in a playoff game or two than Lamar has ever played in a playoff game. So it's a little different. But also, he's never won a game in the playoffs where the other team scored more than 7, which kind of feels wild. So, I mean, obviously, I'm going to ride my Packers because they were also my preseason pick to make the Super Bowl. Now they got an insanely tough road to do that. If they win today, they'll have to go to Detroit, and it probably won't happen, but they could easily lose to Philly. But I like Green Bay plus 4.5. Jordan Love comes up big in big moments. I'm not sure Philly can do that, and I feel like Philly playing at home almost adds pressure where like those fans are crazy and it's like an uncomfortable pressure at times. So, yeah, I think. Listen, I don't love it, but I lean Green Bay plus 4.5 here.
Yeah, Packers' 6 losses have been by more than 5 points, but their toughest spot, this is definitely it. The injuries to Jair Alexander on the defensive side, and then obviously we talked about Christian Watson. I just wonder how much that's going to be an impact. Is tush push still legal? It is still legal.
Yes.
That's still a thing.
Yeah, they've been pushing just fine this year in Philly.
Yeah, it's a tough one for me because I don't know. 4.5 points for a good Packers team that knows how to. I mean, they're well coached. Obviously, better coaching advantage goes to the Packers.
That's a layup.
That's a layup. The Eagles are, I would say, the more complete team. But yeah, I don't have the confidence in the Eagles as much, and the Packers kind of worry me on that front too. So I would say. Oh, by the way, public 61% on the Eagles at 4.5. The money is almost split down the middle, 57 to 43. 57% on the Eagles money wise for this one.
I like the Packers. They've lost to like all their big games this year, but when they lose, it's by, they lost to 5 week 1 to the Eagles. Discard that. Lost to the Vikings by 2. Lost to the Lions by 10, but then
only
lost to
one.
the Lions by 3. Lost to the Vikings by 2. Lost to the Bears by 2. Like
only
all
one
their
has been by more than
are
5.
Incredibly close, outside of a 10-point loss to the Lions midway through the year. So like, yeah, give me the team that doesn't lose big and is going to be in it and balled out in the playoffs. The Packers looked incredible in the playoffs. Also, Milwaukee was in our chat doubting him, so that makes me even more confident.
That makes it even more. Oh, rightfully so. Yeah. Eagles coming in 14-3, by the way, with their position as the 2 seed. Yeah. You know what? Interestingly enough, 83 and 81% of the public and the money are all on the over, which makes me want to lean under. And there's some trends for the under with, obviously Jalen Hurts coming off that concussion protocol. Jordan Love's banged up with his elbow, but he should be good. But with you got Christian Watson maybe taking away some of the explosiveness on the Packers side. Both defenses are decent to good defenses. As far as what they're giving up. Philadelphia only allowing 1.41 points per drive. First, Green Bay second at 1.76. So with all the money being on the over and some of the things that, I'm bringing in now from the trends and the injuries, under lean, maybe.
I could see it.
Under 45.5.
Their defense is number 1 and number 2 in points per drive.
Yep.
So Joe Close says Eagles by 2 TDs.
This is similar. Bless you.
I'm gonna sneeze.
Keep it going.
Forever.
Another one.
Give us a
I was 5. I usually never get past 4.
You must have
And usually
contracted
it's like 2 to
whatever
3.
Hayward and Boswell have.
This game, so maybe I lean towards the under here in this game, but I feel like this is exactly the same spot as like I have a good lean with you on Packers, but I could. It's like the Pittsburgh game. I could see this being a complete blowout. I could also see this being a close game that the Packers win on, at the very end. So it's like, tough. Storgio, welcome back or welcome in. Good to have you.
He was going to sleep, but now he's back.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Welcome back, Storch.
All right, so I mean, if you're super confident Green Bay plus 4.5, we could make it a best
like
bet.
The under as well.
Come on, man.
I like the under as well.
Let's put that one as a consideration. Under.
I'm just scared at how well Jordan Love played in the playoffs last year. That's my fear. He balled out in the playoffs last year.
Let's see what some of these other bets are.
I'm gonna put under 45.5 on here just as like a placeholder in the Green Bay Philly, because I think under. I think that feels really good.
Storch, you can't sleep because you want to know our thoughts on these games. We get it. It's fine.
I mean, we only bring the best analysis and the best picks and everything under the sun for you guys. So I mean, Storchio, that's why I love you, man.
My man.
Love you.
Now I'll jump off the stream wanting to fall asleep, and I'll be awake for a little. My wife came home last night. This is way off the map, but she went to the Nuggets Celtics game last night. She came home and she's like, I can't sleep. Let's watch something together. And then the last like 3 minutes of an episode where it was like literally coming up on midnight, I fell asleep and like on the couch in front of her. Wasn't even in bed with her because there were kids in there. And she was like, did you fall asleep? She was like, I can't imagine falling asleep to the show. It's so intense. And I'm like, it was midnight and I was tired. I stayed up because you wanted it. Like,
which is,
I wanted no part of that.
I feel like she goes to bed early, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, like
she's usually if on these nights when I'm doing this, I don't know, but like I would say she's normally like in between 9 and 9:30.
Which the game started at 8. It was a 10:30 end to that game, and then drive time.
Yeah,
like damn.
She didn't stay for the whole thing, to be clear.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, it was literally like close to midnight, and she's like, "Did you fall asleep?" And I'm like, "For the last 5 minutes of that, I did." Sorry. She's like, "I can't believe you fell asleep." And I'm like, "It was midnight. I'm tired."
What show was it?
It's called Lioness.
Oh,
Lioness.
I've heard good things. I'll have to check that out.
Paramount Plus.
Okay, check it out.
Good shows on Paramount Plus. If you don't have a prescription, subscription.
I'll go see if I get that prescribed for the next next go round.
Sick. They like literally today was finally the day where like they feel good for the first time this year. So
fair enough. I always fall asleep in movies and TV shows around ex-girlfriends. No wonder why I'm single. Yeah.
Well, and here's a big problem. There were when both Avengers movies came out, like the last two, Endgame and whatever the other one was.
Infinity War.
Infinity War. They both literally were released the same night as the first round of the draft. So me and my buddy Monder would have big plans. We're like, let's watch the first round of the draft, and then we'll go and watch, the debut of this movie at like 10 o'clock. I fell asleep both times in the movie. I drank too much during the first round of the draft because that's like a holiday. Now I can't ever be here for the first round because
you always have a work trip or
my wife's work trip. But
sacrifices.
Commanders and Bucks.
Let's get to Commanders and Bucks. This game opened up at 3.5. for the in favor of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, dropped to 3, and that's where it sits right now. So Tampa Bay at home favored against the Washington Commanders by 3, over under total at a high 50.5 in this one, and then the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to win this game minus 166 on the money line. The Washington Commanders plus 138. Now, we kind of talked about this game leading into the at the end of the last stream when we were looking at some of those lines. One of my observations was initial thought was rookie quarterbacks making their playoff debut on the road. It's a tough spot, right? And obviously, Jaden Daniels has had.
I didn't hear that point with Bo Nix, but yeah, go on.
Well, that's because he's superhuman, right?
Oh,
He's basically the best of all of them. So
Right.
it's different. No, but Jaden Daniels, will be on the road in his rookie debut along with Bo Nix. There you go, I said it. And they'll be taking on the Baker Mayfield show, which, again, we always say leading into every season, Baker Mayfield's always that guy that's going to probably get you a playoff bid, and he's going to get you one win in the playoffs, and then that's his ceiling. His ceiling is win a game in the playoffs and be done in the next round. I don't see anything much different, and that's kind of why I lean the Tampa Bay here on the Tampa Bay side at 3. But Scotty, what are your thoughts as far as this game is concerned?
This is, first of all, the one underdog that's getting bet wildly, and the one favorite that I like.
Washington, by the way, 77% of the public and 87% of the money's on Washington.
Yeah, so I like Tampa. At Tampa minus 3, like you forget. I talked about Green Bay. Tampa played really damn well in the playoffs last year. They blew out the Eagles in round 1, and then they were super competitive in round 2, where they were back and forth where they could have won that game. So like, at home, you get a Tampa team against a rookie quarterback. The world is on Washington. I like Tampa in this one. This is the one favorite that I actually like quite a bit.
Commanders played the easiest schedule, 30th of all the playoff teams. They went 2-3 in outdoor road games this season. Washington ranked 30th in run defense, while the Buccaneers are ranked 4th in run offense. Bucks ranked 4th in red zone offense, while Washington is 22nd in red zone defense. Tampa Bay owns the number 1 third down offense, while Washington is ranked 15th third down defense. It's just all the trends I just feel just continue to pile up in favor of the Bucks in this game, and I just think it's going to be a tall order. Rec, you doing some laundry back there? What are you doing?
What's going on there, Rec? Everything okay back there?
I don't hear anything.
Well, you were going through like a wind turbine or something.
Yeah,
weird, but okay.
Tampa Bay, I'm kind of with you with everything that we've been discussing. I would be okay as one of the options for our best bets. I have it down here. Rec,
like it.
Any other analysis on Commanders Bucks?
I'm kind of surprised the total is 50.5. Like, is that a trap? Because that looks like a really good under to me. Like, Buccaneers have a good defense, and they do tend to keep games close, whether they win or lose. They don't really blow teams out.
I mean,
They don't do that very often. I know Jaden Daniels is a good quarterback, but he's been pretty inconsistent this year. Like maybe it's insane, but so Vegas is thinking this is going to be like a 30-27 game. I don't think it gets that high.
Well,
I don't see it.
You're dealing with the number 4 and number 5 scoring teams in the NFL. Bucks averaging 29.5 a game.
Bucks do blow teams out, by the way. When they win, they blow them out.
Tampa Bay went 12-5 to the over. The weather is 51 degrees, give or take. I mean, I might be leaning over. I could potentially see some points, but it's. Do I want to sweat an over? I don't know. I would lean over in this one, but I wouldn't. I don't know if I'd feel great about it. So I'm going to leave the over alone.
The Bucks score. The only week they didn't score was ironically against your Broncos.
Yeah.
Chris.
Best defense in the
Every
league.
other week.
Yeah.
Every other week, they've literally scored at least 20, and often a lot more than that. Every other week.
Yeah. Some other numbers to the over here. Bucks over in 5 of 6, and Commanders over in 6 of 8. Washington 5 and 3 over on the road, average 51.4 points per game. And Bucks are around at home 51 points per game. I mean, there's a lot of points I think going to be scored. I don't want to sweat it though.
Tampa was 4th in the NFL in points scored this year.
Yeah.
Washington was 5th.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
that's yeah. Maybe we'll leave that one alone. We'll just stick to Bucks
I
minus
just
3.
like Bucks. I like Bucks minus 3.
I agree. I'm with you.
And if it got to 2.5, I would just pour all the money on it.
All right. Where's Black Market? Now's your time to shine because we got Vikings
Monday
at
Night Football.
Rams for Monday night.
Before we dive into this, because it used to be 3 games on Saturday, 3 games on Sunday.
Correct.
And then I think this is year 3 of a Monday Night Football game. Do people like that? I don't like it.
I don't know.
I don't like it.
I mean, the NFL is just trying to spread the love, you know?
I loved the Saturday, Sunday thing. It was perfect. It was an all-day event, both days. Like,
yeah.
The Monday night, I'm just not into. Not into it.
Yeah. If your team
there's never been a good game on Monday night. They've always been blowouts.
If your team is playing on Monday night, it sucks. Yeah, I agree. Like having to wait all the way till Monday, especially when all you want to see is playoff football for your team. It's
a disadvantage because you got a shortened week moving forward. So like, I get why it was money why they did it. I understand why they did it, but like, I kind of like the 3-game Saturday, 3-game Sunday setup. Myself.
Yeah. So yeah, this is an interesting game though. For sure, because the Minnesota Vikings are 1.5 point favorites on the road in Los Angeles. You also have
Is it in Los Angeles though?
It's not. It's going to be a home game for Minnesota probably, because let's just face it, Rams and Chargers just don't ever have home field advantage.
Well, no, I meant more of the fact that there's a fire.
Well, and that too. Well, that too. Regardless, either way, regardless, it's even if it was no fire, it would still be probably more Vikings fans than Rams fans, I would think. 47.5 is the over/under total. Los Angeles plus 100 on the money line. The Minnesota Vikings minus 118. This is as even as it's going to get, ladies and gentlemen. Black Market in the chat says Vikings don't need to worry about Kirk Cousins ruining a primetime game. That's true. Yeah, he won't be throwing picks for you guys. That's for sure. This game might be moved to Arizona, says Joe. And if it moves to Arizona, yeah, I mean,
probably makes it a pick'em.
Makes it a pick'em, maybe. Yeah,
it should make Minnesota favored, but like people hate Minnesota, so
Minnesota, that would be the best case.
I'm mad at Minnesota because I was like, as I've said, like I was off them all year, and then I was like, all right, I apologize, and then since then they've been like shit. So
well, and we started to look at the how Minnesota played in that last game, and it was we're starting to see is Sam Darnold the guy? Like if he has back-to-back rough games with the last game of the season all the way leading into this game, the momentum and how he's going to look in this, it's going to be fascinating. But you know, I look at this game from a betting standpoint, and the Rams seem like a dark horse team for me. You know me from the beginning of the season, Scotty. I was like, this is going to be a team that won't be able to play much defense, but they can outscore you with all their offense, all their weapons. You have a really good quarterback in Stafford who can sling the ball around, and you have an offensive-minded coach that can really get things rolling with anybody he's got back there. So that being said, I mean, teasing the Rams is an option for me. Obviously we've already had a couple of teasers, and I don't know if we want to pair it up with anything else. There's nothing else to pair it up with, I don't think. So it would just leave the spread, which it's tough.
I like the tease. I don't like the spread, but I like the tease.
Teasing the Rams up feels good. I mean, we could also pair the tease with. We could double up, and if we're really confident about like Houston or Buffalo, we could just double
There's
it
only
up. But
6 games, we can double up one of those.
Which one?
I'd double up. Well,
Minute.
if we double up Houston, we're all in on Houston.
We need Houston to just
like we either go great or we lose magnificently. If we double up, it would be a triple up on Houston.
It's interesting. You're more confident about that over the Bills at -2.5.
No, I was just pointing out that like we already have Houston on 2 bets. It wasn't that I'm more confident in that.
Oh, got
it. Yeah, no, I like Buffalo at 2.5. Buffalo's gonna win that game, and then I'm gonna be annoyed if they win.
Well, what's great is if we lose these bets, I'm gonna be the happiest man ever, right? Like if the Broncos win that game somehow,
unless the Bills win by like
2
1 or 2.
Yeah, 1 or 2. Then it's the worst of everything.
Shitty everywhere.
So an option here would be the Rams teased up to +7.5, along with Bills -2.5. So we could like tease that, round robin it, maybe whatever we could do to get that going.
Yep.
But let's break down the game though.
Okay. Yeah, this game, man, you have experience certainly on the Rams side. You have what we think will be a home game. It'll be interesting to watch how these fires affect. I mean, we just watched the Clippers get annihilated by a Jokic-less Nuggets team by a lot. So,
yeah.
Like, maybe there's something to
distraction
elsewhere.
Yeah,
for sure. I mean, that's a very legitimate distraction. Usually in the playoffs, I'm like, nothing should distract you, but like, your house is on fire. That seems legit. I don't know. Maybe it's spaced out enough where it doesn't affect them. But my lean, the Rams are going to be competitive. They're good. The Vikings also good. I like teasing the Rams up quite a bit. I think you watch a Sam Darnold that didn't play well last week, obviously in his biggest moment in his career on Sunday Night Football. Didn't meet the moment. He's going to do everything he can to meet this moment. He has the best wide receiver in the league on his team. He has Jordan Addison on his team. He has a good offensive line. You have a Rams defense that's like, at best. Defensively, you got to create turnovers because the Rams are going to throw to Puka Nacua and do all those things. You have a good running game. You got Cooper Kupp. Like, I think this is going to be a super fun game to watch and competitive, but I would certainly tease up the Rams to 7.5 and feel pretty good about that being a 7-point or less game.
Agreed.
Yeah, I'd lead Rams just because they've been here before. The Vikings with this team haven't been here. I mean, I guess they were in the wild card a few years ago against the Giants, but relatively, this team isn't experienced with the playoffs. Rams are very experienced.
If I had to bet just on the line, I'd bet actually Minnesota, weirdly.
Yeah.
Because I think most people have that mentality, and I go different. But it hasn't worked this year. I always go the different mentality, and Hasn't gone terribly, but it didn't go well this year. So maybe I'm just wrong all the time.
Well, and
And
I think fading.
finally, you admit it.
I mean, fading the Minnesota, like, obviously that abysmal offensive performance, it was like a playoff game in that last one. And it didn't, there was a beat up defense for the Lions, and they still couldn't figure out how to move the ball and put up points. And that was concerning a little bit in the sense that that's what you should expect in the playoffs. So that is still stuck in my head. I think the Rams won the first meeting between these teams by 10, if I'm not mistaken. So, there's that familiarity with how to beat this team. Los Angeles, it seems like a team that it seems like a team that I probably want to lean on in this one. But I don't know if I like the spread.
I wildly bet money line. That was like a Monday night game. It was a night game, Rams and Vikings.
Yeah.
And I remember betting money.
Is that the one you bet money line on Rams?
Yeah, and my son called me crazy and went pretty well for me. So
yeah. So Rams. I mean, what did I say the Rams money line was in this one? It said it was.
Check your percentages. I guarantee the Rams are getting more of the higher percentage of the bets. Have to be.
Oh, let me take a look at that.
Because if you bet this game,
actually,
you gotta bet Rams.
This one could be close.
63% of the public and 65% of the money is on the Vikings.
And all of a sudden, Sky likes the Rams.
And that's with
about to change sides.
Yeah, that was yeah.
But if you do bet this, you gotta bet money line as opposed to
money line. So that was the spread. The money line, if you're looking at that number, 74% of the public is on Minnesota. 89% of the money is on Minnesota for the money line.
Sky's entire perception is changing.
No, I don't know how to feel. I don't have a great feel in this game.
I still like tease Rams. I think that's the only play that I feel.
I think the Vikings are sleeping a little bit of a giant. I think the Rams are more experienced and could easily just take this game. I don't have a good feel in this game, but I'll watch.
All right. So yeah, it'll be a Monday nighter, so we'll have to wait for it. But let's go through our best bets because I think we're all got to the beginning here, and let's just make sure we're doubling up on what we have decided. Rec, I need you guys in the community to put up your best bets.
In the chat.
If anyone should be giving advice on best bets, it's Piglet, obviously, because she's absolutely crushed the super contest this year. So you might just want to just go with whatever Piglet her favorite bet is.
That might be a decent option.
That might be your only option. Because chat, if there's a specific bet you want to throw out there, you can put it out right now in the chat. We will vote on it. But by the way, guys, if you guys want to join our playoff challenge, it's free. ! Contest. You'll see all of the information you need. Click join league, and you'll be able to go in and pick one player from each team. And if you have the best roster from all the points that are scored with your team at the end of this playoffs, then you will win a prize from ActionLab Sports. So go ahead, click the link. It'll be in our Discord as well, but this is a way to get in and join that free contest. Doesn't cost you anything. Pick your best bets from the community, and we'll get it out there. To recap ours, we have Bo Nix over 24.5 rushing yards. We have Houston in Bills in a teaser. Houston plus 8.5 and Bills minus 2.5. We have under 45.5 in the Green Bay Philly game. We have Tampa Bay minus 3, and we have Rams teased up to 7.5, Bills minus 2.5. So we're double dipping on Bills to win that game by at least a field goal. Anything sound off for that.
Say that last one again.
Rams plus 7.5 and Bills minus 2.5 is
So you're
the
taking the Bills twice.
is the
Bills
teaser. So we
twice.
have that in a teaser twice. So Bills are, if the Bills don't cover 2.5, if they don't win by a field goal, we're already out on both of our teasers.
We're not taking my favorite bet, but that's fine.
What the Green Bay?
Houston plus 3.
Houston plus.
Just no tease, but
Houston
plus. But we're teasing.
Well, it's at 2.5.
Well, I got it at 3, so that's kind of my thing.
Oh, okay. Well,
I bet a decent amount of dollars on that.
Okay. So, well, since it's at 2.5, we'll just leave it at 2.5 and we'll just tease it.
Hit Eagles minus 4.5 while you can. I don't think it's leaving, but
Eagles minus. Well, interestingly enough, in that Packers Eagles game, even with all the key injuries on the offense and defensive side, the line hasn't moved. Like it's been right. It opened up at 3.5 and stuck at 4.5 even after some of the announcements of the and maybe that was baked into that 4.5. Those injuries were kind of, they were aware of some of those injuries, which obviously we saw Christian Watson go out in a bad way in that last game. So could be baked in. But the line hasn't moved much, so I don't anticipate it going up.
Can we get one more bet from the chat? Can we get one more anything? Player prop, teaser, spread, whatever.
Yeah, chat. If you guys like a bet this week, throw it in there. You guys can vote on it, and that will be your community vote.
I know we're almost done, but I'm going to do a code yellow real quick.
Code yellow in the chat. And then your best bets. Black market, I predict Vikings and Bills win. Chiefs don't get eliminated this week. It's going bold on that one. I feel like you're on the right track there.
I can feel it all the way down in my plums.
Especially, hey,
All right.
Troop. What's up, Troop? How's it going? Welcome. Who's your team and where you're from? Like to get to know you a little bit better. Welcome to the ActionLab Sports Channel here live on Twitch. By the way, guys, again, I'm going to keep spamming our contest. It's free. Playoff contest is right here in the chat, and also our Discord in case you don't get the link and you miss out on the ID and everything else. Go to the Discord and check it out on the contest page for our Discord. Everything will be there that you need, and you can win some cool stuff, right? You can win some ActionLab gear. Piglet ordered some ActionLab gear. It's getting shipped. Sorry, Piglet. I don't know what happened there, but it's on the way. It's got to be the Steelers. I'm a state trooper in PA. LOL. Hey.
Nice.
All right. Well, we got to ask every Steelers fan that comes in. Our moderator is a Steelers fan. We have two moderators. They're both Steelers fans, and we had another one come in earlier. So it's all about the Steelers tonight from all the people coming in and joining us. But what are your thoughts on Mike Tomlin as your head coach? Just curious. So we have some our Steelers, resident Steelers fans have a very strong opinion about Mike Tomlin. Want to get your thoughts too. By the way, if you guys are new, my name is Chris. Scotty's taking a little break. He'll be back in a couple seconds. I'm a Broncos fan. He is a Chiefs fan. You'll get to know him pretty well from that standpoint. But we are live every Wednesday, Thursday, and Sunday in the Action Lab. So if you guys love sports, NBA, NFL, we're breaking it all down for you each and every single week here in the Action Lab. So great to have you guys here. I'm just
shocked that Scotty hasn't talked about the Chiefs yet today.
Yeah, basically, well, let's just take that as a win for us. All right, let's go ahead and put the socials out there as well in case you want to check out our YouTube channel. Go to check out our YouTube channel for all our breakdowns. We're going to upload all of our previews since we all wrapped everything up. We're going to put those on YouTube so you guys can check those out along with all of our best bets. Again, best bets, Bo Nix over 24.5 rushing yards. We have Houston plus 8.5 and Bills minus 2.5 in a teaser, under 45.5 in the Green Bay Philly, and Tampa Bay minus 3, and Rams plus 7.5 and Bills minus 2.5 in our final teaser. So there you go. Troop. Personally, I don't have much time to keep up with football, but I do watch every Steelers game. All right, fair enough. So, hey,
What are you so busy with, Troop? What are you doing?
He's a state trooper.
He's a state trooper. Yeah.
It's just arresting.
That's what
people
he's
left
busy
and right.
with.
State trooper in PA. So yeah, thank you for everything you do, by the way.
Of course.
Vote in the poll, y'all.
Yeah, vote.
for
What
our best bet.
are the best bets? We got Eagles minus 4.5, Bills minus 8.5, Ravens first half minus 6.5. I kind of like that one. And Vikings minus 1.5. Vote. This will be your submission for the community best bet.
Right now, Vikings minus 1.5 is winning, and I'm not a fan of that one. I lean Rams more than Vikings.
Troop, I'm also living on a farm, so always busy. Yeah, so, I mean, you get that farm life. There's always stuff you got to, be,
Farm life, I'm not cut out for.
Rams money line, says Joe.
I'm soft.
Yeah. Farm life, it's you got to be cut out for it. That's for sure. No love for Bills minus 8.5. I feel like if there's one
Look
game,
at you, Chris.
I mean, as much as I would love the Broncos to keep it close, I just think it's going to be one of those games where at the end, it's just going to kind of blow open a little bit, but it's going to be close for a lot of it. Dairy and easy to raise. Okay.
Nice.
Boom. I'll take that. Vote, guys. The vote is almost out. The time is running out. So make sure you guys, whatever vote you guys go with is going to be added into our best bets as the community best bet that we'll be tracking. So make sure you guys are voting right now. I know there's a lot of you guys in there. There's more than
minus 1.5.
There's more than
Holding
6 of you guys in the chat. I know that. Let's go ahead and get everyone jumping in on the vote. Come on.
You gotta click a button, guys, if you're here. It's not a big deal.
Or tap your screen,
We
whatever
won't-
you're watching us on.
We won't call you out on your pick. Don't worry.
I mean, we will hold them accountable for their pick. For sure. We won't call you out now, but we'll hold you accountable once the games have concluded. So, just saying that.
It's funny. Earlier they were talking about earlier we had Trooper talking about not keeping up with the Steelers too much, but still trying to watch them. I'll see how well y'all keeping up with the Avalanche. Who are your current goaltenders?
Well, we have one injured. We had our backup third string playing tonight because we're in a back-to-back tomorrow, and we're playing our second
Vikings
string.
minus
He's been
1.5 wins.
phenomenal, by the way. He's been phenomenal. Our second string goaltender is like
What's his
9-1 in his start. What is it? Like, I don't know, Blackwood,
Wormwood.
something like that.
Something similar. Yeah.
Who's your starting goalie?
Nobody knows.
It's black or worm or something.
You're on the right track.
He got hurt the other night where we got screwed on a goal where he got run over.
It's Black Market
And
breast
they
milk. It's in the chat. See, that's what it was.
Yes.
No. We have a. I cheated.
Mackenzie Blackwood. I know that.
And we have a Scott Wedgwood. We have a Wedgwood and a Blackwood.
I knew it was black and wedge. See, and a lot of wood. I knew it.
Yeah.
Black
I don't know
wedge and
I knew
a
they were
lot
playing
of
because I
wood.
was listening to the radio this morning and they had the coach on for the Avs because we were playing again tomorrow. So I knew we were playing our other goalie, who I don't actually know. after those two who it is.
See, it's all
But we lost, but we also only scored 1 goal. So figure it out, guys.
See, we know what's up. We know what's up.
Yeah.
So get your
I
facts
feel like
straight.
I feel like I got that answer right.
Yeah.
Tonight we started Trent Miner, obviously,
Trent Miner. Yeah.
of course.
Who's the other guy? Kevin Mandalese. I can't. I can't keep track. I don't even know.
I
Or-
feel like
yeah,
I got that. You laughed, Rick, but I got that right. Like
Yeah, you did.
Blackwood
It's just
and
like-
Wedgwood.
It's like we got Wedge, we got Black, we got Wood, we got Worm,
Yeah.
maybe. I don't know.
All
Yeah.
right.
I
Well,
got that right.
So the community pick is you said it
Vikings.
was Vikings.
Vikings -1.5.
Which I'm personally not a fan of. I lean the other side more. I lean Rams money line more.
And you guys should be confident in your pick.
You guys voted for it.
Also, Piglet, who dominated our picks this year, said she's been working, but she's gonna put her picks in the Discord. So maybe follow those. I don't know.
Maybe. Well, I'll give you one rebuttal to change this if you guys
No,
can agree.
That's their pick. What are we
Okay.
doing?
All right. Fine.
No, it's Vikings -1.5.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Fine.
They
Fine.
picked it.
All right. Fair enough. I was gonna give you one out, but you know.
Could be
No.
wrong. Could be right. I don't know.
We'll find out Monday night.
We will. It'll be an interesting game, that's for sure. We don't need an out. Says
We don't
Black.
need it.
We don't need no outs. He
He's
says
confident in his Vikings.
I'm
Stop embarrassing.
he's like
me,
I'm
Chris.
standing on it. I'm standing on it because we're gonna dominate Monday night. It's just part of it. All
I
right.
have a lot of money right now tied up in Houston +3 and Josh Allen to win MVP. So both those things should happen
All right.
eventually.
All right. I love it.